Hello everyone, welcome back to Jikook Moments. Every time Jungkook's name appears in a rumor, his work seems to stop being treated as art. The music, the visuals, even BTS albums, everything is forced to be read as evidence of a story that has never been confirmed. Small details are twisted. Symbols are assigned meanings they were never meant to have. Not to understand, but to justify assumptions. Today, we are not going to speculate. We are going to look at this logically and distinguish between a creative process and an obsession wrapped in narrative. It is genuinely difficult to comprehend and honestly painful how every time Jungkook's name gets dragged into a rumor, all of his work seems to lose the right to stand on its own. His music, his visual concepts, even BTS's group projects are casually reduced to supporting evidence for an unconfirmed dating narrative. As if Jungkook's career, creativity, and artistic dedication have no intrinsic value unless they are interpreted through a forced romantic lens. Nothing is seen as it actually is anymore. Every detail is filtered, bent, and reinterpreted to fit a story that was chosen in advance. Not to understand, but to validate assumptions. What is even more baffling, and frankly exhausting, is the recurring pattern of behavior from certain groups of fans. Every time Jungkook is rumored to be close to a woman, they appear claiming to be Jungkook fans. Yet what they do is not support Jungkook as an artist. Instead, they obsessively compare, erase, and attempt to remove Jikook from every conversation. This is not a new phenomenon. The pattern is consistent. The motive is transparent. Every rumor is followed by the same statements, with nearly identical variations. Jungkook is dating Jimin doesn't exist. Jungkook dates women, so Jikook was never real. Everything about Jikook is just fiction. This is not analysis. This is not fact-finding. It is a systematic attempt to discredit, invalidate, and erase a dynamic that has lived in the fandom for years, not because of evidence, but because it does not align with their personal preferences. Instead of enjoying their own ship, or acting maturely by accepting that rumors are still just rumors, they become obsessed with defeating Jikook, as if they are fighting an idea rather than appreciating music, art, or a group's journey. And that obsession has now erupted once again. Suddenly, the logo of BTS's new album is forcibly dragged into this narrative. Jungkook is accused of shouting his love through visual design. A group album is claimed to be a hidden dedication to someone whose existence in Jungkook's life is nothing more than speculation. None of this is born from facts, but from a desperate need to use anything, even a collective project, as justification. That is why it is important to dissect this issue calmly, informatively, and logically. Without dramatization. Without fabrication. Without adding facts that never existed. And when we trace it back to the root, everything becomes very clear. This controversy did not begin with the album, the design, or the visual concept. It began with a long-standing obsession that refuses to be let go. An obsession that then becomes the lens through which everything related to Jungkook is interpreted. The actual creative process is very simple and entirely normal. Jungkook, as an artist, used his time in the United States to draw, explore ideas, create numerous sketches on his tablet, and experiment with various visual possibilities. Not one final design, but a collection of raw ideas, proposals at different stages of development, that he reviewed and refined while seeking feedback. From there, he selected a few ideas, around 3 or 4, to submit to the company. And from that point on, full control of the project rested with HYBE's design team. This team does not operate based on personal feelings or internet rumors. They work within a professional framework, brand identity, visual strategy, musical concepts, and BTS's long-term planning as a global group. To assume that the final album design is a direct translation of Jungkook's personal sketches is not only incorrect, but also dismissive of the dozens of professionals involved in the process. Yet instead of accepting this logical and easily understood explanation, some people choose to ignore it. They insist on constructing a narrative that the album was created with a specific person in mind, that it is a hidden dedication, that every symbol is a secret code. This logic collapses before it even reaches its conclusion. This album is not Jungkook's solo project. It is BTS's work as a group, born from consensus, collective planning, and approval from multiple departments. Believing in a dedication theory means believing that all BTS members, along with HYB, consciously dedicated an entire album to a woman based on rumors. That is not just implausible, it is absurd. The distortion becomes even worse when design symbols are forcibly interpreted. A circle shape, for example, is linked to a 3-puppy tattoo. This is not art analysis. This is obsessive projection. The circle is one of the most basic and universal visual elements in the history of design, symbolizing unity, continuity, balance, and cycles. Linking something that universal to a specific personal reference without any evidence only shows how strong the urge is to force a romantic narrative onto every detail. Such interpretations do not enrich discussion. They degrade it. The most upsetting narrative of all is the claim that Jungkook ruined BTS's comeback for that woman. This is not only wrong, it is cruel and destructive. It portrays Jungkook as an irresponsible professional, undermines BTS's collective work, and implicitly accuses HYBE's team of incompetence. Ironically, this narrative often comes from people who claim they want to protect Jungkook. But if someone truly respects Jungkook as an artist and a professional, they would not spread a portrayal that diminishes his integrity and his commitment to the group. The real issue is not the album design, nor is it Jungkook's creative contribution. The issue is the inability of some people to let go of rumors, and to accept that not everything revolves around an idol's love life, whether real or imagined. Nearly 2 months have passed, yet this speculation continues to be revived. Every new piece of content is twisted to fit the story they already chose to believe. This is not about enjoying art or appreciating BTS's creative work. This is about maintaining an obsession. When asked to think logically or show restraint, the response is not reflection, but accusations, hate, attacks, or claims of harassment. Yet the criticism is very clear. The problem is not emotion, but the absence of reason. The facts are simple. Jungkook contributed ideas. Professional teams developed the design. This album is BTS's work as a group. And rumors remain rumors. Forcing symbols and dragging a group album into personal stories is not analysis. It is distortion. Respecting Jungkook means respecting his integrity as an artist, not using him as a tool for justification. Thank you for watching Jikook Moments. If you appreciate art without false narratives, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. See you in the next video.